Hello there. Welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom and Anastasia. Welcome to the show. Today I have my co-host Anastasia with me. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hey,
Just appreciate you. Um, all right. So today, normally the live show discussion topics they include anything you feel is newsworthy about systemic racism, anti-racism, bigotry, inequality, and corruption in America. But today, Anastasia and I are going to do something a little different. So bear with us. We're going to bare our souls to you. Willow, welcome. Yay, thanks for being here. As always, the show is meant to be an opportunity for visitors to speak their minds and also to serve as an educational tool and cultural competency with a focus on learning the truth about systemic racism in America. And that's not always the easiest thing, as we all know really too well. Um, and something that people maybe don't know, I wanted to mention, and maybe you do know, my Facebook page called Angry Soccer Mom. Hello, Chimanoa, welcome. My Facebook page called Angry Soccer Mom is not a debate stage. That sounds really strange because a lot of Facebook is debate. But sad to say, or glad to say, quite frankly, I personally do not debate my fellow humans' civil rights. And some things aren't debatable. I'm not sure how else to put it. So when people try to debate my fellow humans or my civil rights, my human rights, I don't go there. And so that's kind of a tough thing for some people because that's not it's not a controversial issue. They get them. Okay, so there we go. Just want to make that clear because I think some people get confused, and I understand that. Um, Once again, I want to tell everybody thank you for sending me breaking news. It's hard to keep up. Here it is.
first of all, thank you for having me here. And the only thing I wanted to say was we can debate if we're talking about pizza and whether you think that pineapple goes on pizza or not,
Mhm.
We can debate on grits, sugar, or salt. Okay. We can even debate on LeBron versus Jordan. But what we're not going to do is debate on whether or not we should have the right to live and live a happy life. I'm not doing it, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, we don't do it. Thank you for that. And it's kind of a policy, I guess you could say. Thank you. That was so well put. I don't debate my fellow humans' rights. It's not debatable. There are, thank you, Willow. Oh my goodness, there are moral absolutes. There we go. Hi, Michael and Mahako. Thank you for being here. So, if you want to be amazing and send me breaking news because I can't keep up, please do. I will be very thankful. The number to call in is right here. And if you do call in, please try to limit it to just like a few minutes and mostly questions for Anastasia because she's no, because you're
I caught that. I caught how you just try to throw me under the bus like that, but
no,
that's okay.
because you're so good. No, because you're good, and you're. People can talk to me anytime, but when you're here, it's special and amazing, and that's all I can say. Plus, I threw you on the bus. Sorry. Oops, my bad. So I want to do a quick follow-up from last week's discussion. And this kind of like hit me in the face. I can never get used to this stuff. I don't know what's wrong with me. Michael, oh my God. Thank you. It's okay. Thank you. A quick follow-up. Yesterday in the news, I saw this article, and it followed up with what we were talking about with the white woman find the white woman syndrome. I'll tell it real fast, and I hope Anastasia will want to follow up with this. Quick news from yesterday. A California news anchor was suspended indefinitely from a Bay Area news station last week after suggesting that KTVU air short segments on the disproportionate media coverage that Gabby Petito has gotten on her case. And don't get me wrong, she should get coverage on her case, and she is also, she's a public figure, really. And what they did was horrific. But the problem is this. Frank Summerlin, a 63-year-old, wanted to add a 46-second tag along to explain about the homicide investigations about this young woman and why media coverage is not including Black and brown people who were also missing. And we talked about this last time, so we're not going to get into it. But he was suspended indefinitely from the station after he suggested that maybe they air a short segment about the disproportionate media coverage of that Gabby Petito, the case has gotten. And I think it's really important. The news, I guess, I just wanted to point that out. This systemic racism is so incredibly real. It's so incredibly real. And it's freaking everywhere. And I heard something yesterday that was absolutely brilliant. Somebody said, you quit making racism about everything. Everything's about racism. And the person said, until there's equality and equity in America, that is true. Everything will be about racism. Basically, tough shit. And I just so related to that. I was like, jump right in there.
So the fact of the matter is, this country was built on xenophobia and racism. Let's not pretend when they got here that they took, raped, murdered, and pillaged the indigenous people. Let's not forget that we are right now on stolen land, okay? And even, I know we have these holidays coming up, of course, Thanksgiving. Let's understand that it wasn't the reason why they came there. And when they came there was not for this whole religious freedom and all of this. It was to make money. That's why the companies, the people that came, it was called companies. You know what I'm saying? And the gentleman Squanto that was helping them, the reason why he was there still, his family, before when the colonizers came, took his family into slavery and killed the rest of them. That's why he knew English. Let's be clear about that. And the reason why they actually helped the colonizers that was there is because they were raiding their graves, the indigenous people's graves, of food. So that's why they helped them. I just wanted to put that in there. So,
yeah. Well, you know what? Thank you. Here's the bottom line. As white folks, we generally do not know a thing about our racial history, and details matter. The stuff we're taught in school is generally whitewashed, as we mostly know, and details matter. Yes. Okay. Michael is checking out because he finds this to be hate speech, hate America first speech. And that's fine. That's fine. Let's keep going. All right. I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you want to add anything else, Anastasia?
Nope.
Okay. And that's fine. It is very, very difficult to talk about problems when white folks have such extreme fragility. And whereas we recognize that we need to talk about them. So that's why we're here. So what I'm going to do is talk about tonight's topics. We're going to do some things on sundown towns, and we're going to learn about what they are. Most people probably already know, but just in case. And we're going to talk very personally about the reality of raising a Black or brown child in a world of white supremacy, and it's difficult. We're going to get into the Black perspective, and maybe talk a little bit, if Anastasia feels like it, about how pumpkin spice can trigger an existential crisis for a Black woman. And we're going to also talk about safe spaces and multicultural spaces and what they are. So let us begin. For some people, thank you, Jerome. Appreciate it. Some people don't know what a sundown town is, and some people do. So please excuse me if you don't. This will be a little bit boring, but I have, hopefully, somewhere. Okay, of course, it's not brought up again, but that's okay. I have a video that I did, and it was actually quite some time ago, on sundown towns. I'm having computer trouble today, so please forgive me. I will bring it up, and hopefully people who don't know will very much absolutely know. It's just a basic sundown town video and kind of hits home for me, as Anastasia and I have talked about. Unfortunately, you will find out soon why. So let me just find it. Boop. And whoa, that was loud. Okay, I'm going to put it up so that people can see it. And it's a quick 3 minutes, but it should be a good explanation. So let me see if I remember how to do that. How's that? I think I do. Boop. Okay. 2, 3. Okay.
And welcome to another Anti-Racism 101. What the heck are sundown towns? Many people are taught to believe that racism in America was segregated to the South. You may have noticed that when actors play a role in a movie or plays, they mock this Southern accent. But racism has a very long history in the northern states and in some progressive states as well. Today, I'm going to tell you about the best kept secret atrocities against Black people that you probably never learned in your history class in school. Sundown towns, also called gray towns or sunset towns. You should look online and see if your town was one of them. But first, let me tell you what they are. The name sundown town originated from the signs that would be posted just outside of the town as you entered. These signs would have nasty warnings that read something like this: N-words, don't be caught in this town when the sun sets. In other words, if you were caught in their town when the sun set and it was dark, you might not be leaving alive. So how many of these places? Well, nobody knows for sure, but the famous author James Lowen wrote a book on the subject, and his research indicated that there was from 3,000 to 15,000 sundown towns in America. And they weren't just in the South. These all-white cesspools used combinations of local law, intimidation, threats, and violence to make sure their town stayed white. Can you imagine simply trying to visit a relative an hour away? For a Black person, that could mean their death. Well, there's more to this atrocity. It's not like sundown towns were some secret back then. There was an actual book that appeared yearly between 1936 and 1966 that would catalog where a Black person could go to get gas, food, and lodging and be safe. It also cataloged where they better not go. Just think how terrifying and prohibitive it would be to actually travel anywhere in America. I sometimes question whether today we're headed right back down that same alley, that inhumane path with just the deluge of white folks who feel unsafe where they're at in public and insist on calling the police on Black people who are literally existing while Black in a public space. Something to think about. I hope to see you at the next Anti-Racism 101. If you believe, like I do, that it's way past time for white America to educate ourselves.
Okay, enough. Enough about me. So I think that, Anastasia, do you think that gave a clearer understanding of sundown towns, or what do you think?
Well, the thing about it is that, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've always known about sundown towns.
Of course. Right.
And that's because I've had to. But even when you're not in quote unquote sundown towns, depending on where you're at, it's a sundown town and you don't need to be here when it gets dark. I lived in Coney Island when I was in New York, and we had a boy by the name of Yusef Hawkins that was there for a party, or he went out to Sheepshead Bay. Sheepshead Bay was only 15 minutes away from me. That's in New York. And they murdered him in the street.
You know what? I know some, one of my friends told me a story as well about, he lives in, I think it's been a while, Michigan. And he told me there is a line that he and any other Black or brown people do not cross. I'm talking about today. This is not old time. This is today. So, I mean, this is real. And I think it's really important for white folks to understand this. It's extremely important that we listen, hear, and try to think about how we'd feel to the voices of people who are brown and Black. We are not living in the same world in many ways. And it's not just, you don't wear a badge. Hi, I'd like to string you up if I could get away with it. No, you don't know. And it's really scary.
So I wanted to say, hey, Sherelle, that's my girlfriend from New York. And of course, Miss Willow. But Sherelle can tell you, because we both grew up in New York, that just because you're in New York doesn't mean the racism goes away. It's the etiquette of the racism. So the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of Black people in New York that was murdered for the same reasons as sundown towns.
Exactly. Right. So these sundown towns are just kind of the proud place where they're announcing this in the olden days. And many of them, quite frankly, haven't changed a bit. Some of them have, but you know what? You can't legislate a person's heart. It's really sad. And just think how terrifying that would be if you're a white person and you're listening. My God, you don't know who, if they could, would do whatever the hell they want to you. And you might think, oh, stop exaggerating. Well, you know what? If that's what you think, then please keep listening.
So the 2 points I was going to make for you, and to make this clear to everybody and I'm not just talking to white people, I'm talking to non-Blacks altogether. The fact of the matter is, we don't hate anybody, and we don't think everybody is anything. The fact of the matter is, you just don't know. And the fact, you see what I'm saying? It's not about everybody is like that. We know that everybody is not like that, but we also don't know who's like that. And we can't have a gambling and guessing game, because that could get us killed. And that's just point blank and simple about that. That's what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually, as a white person, have the privilege of, I could be friendly to pretty much everyone and assume that they're okay. And you know what? It's true. You don't know. And not everyone's perfectly secure and confident. And I mean, you shouldn't have to be. It's like, you don't know who it is. And it's kind of scary, quite frankly. And we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. So I hope that you're able to listen and understand. We're going to talk about our own experiences, about our own experience raising Black children in a culture of white supremacy. And I'll tell you, for me, it has been quite the experience, quite the journey. And I want to tell you briefly first about the town that I live in. And hi, T. Welcome, T. I just wanted to say welcome, and welcome to everybody for being here. My town was a sundown town. Okay. I looked it up. Silly me, but I did. I learned that I should have looked. No, I'm glad I looked. It all kind of makes sense. I learned that after a bit of research that it was a sundown town, and although all towns have great people and not so great people, and most people are probably somewhere in between, I had a rude awakening with this town of mine. And so this is a story, and I won't get too into it because I'm trying not to make everything about me, which I love to do. 20 years ago, I thought my town was a liberal place where, to the left of center and then some. Then I started a nonprofit business providing education, and I was trying to provide a safe space and a multicultural place where all people could be relatively free of the strain of constant racism, bigotry, inequality, just, being harassed, microaggressions, etc. in a public spot. And I wanted to educate people. And it was just going to be a pretty cool thing. I'm talking bringing every person from classic historical numerical minority groups together and just wahoo. Well, to make a long story short, I learned the hard way that people enjoy believing they are to the far left, but in practice, some people are absolutely not. My nonprofit was destroyed I mean, destroyed. Don't get into it with me. I will freak out. It's such a trigger point for me. I'm sorry to say. It was destroyed by fake liberals who didn't give a flying you-know-what about racism or bigotry. They cared about power, attention, and upholding white supremacy at any cost. But they really wanted the picture on Facebook too. And they didn't want to learn anything. And they didn't have a single friend who wasn't just like them. And yeah, I tried explaining and how this went down. It got really ugly. I don't even want to get into details. I didn't know people could do this. Okay. Naive me destroyed my own organization. I tried to explain that the white people volunteering in the organization would be learning, and that we would have people in historically marginalized groups being the main voices that would be speaking, because normally those are the people who get completely ignored. Well, that didn't go over very well with them at all. I told them they wouldn't be leading. I wouldn't be leading. That those people, I'm just run it from the side. Hopefully all the people who are on the board will be people who are Black, brown, indigenous, of everything. And I'm basically putting this thing together, and I'm going to try to get it going. Well, I think that was pretty much the beginning of the end. I told them they would need to learn cultural competency, every last one of us, and that every one of us would be learning. And the details of that story are for another day. But during the years after my organization was destroyed, I've seen my town lose it, become extremely militarized. I've seen the unequal treatment afforded by police to those who have more active melanin in their bodies, pretty much across the board. I know a case that happened here around 10 years ago where I live. A Black teen was murdered, and he died of his injuries, and he was likely murdered by our police. And I think they beat the living shit out of the child. And I say the child because he was a child. And we'll probably never know the truth because the ranking police lied. They said they'd hold an investigation. It was never done. I wasn't paying close enough attention at the time. No investigation was ever made. There were inquiries. And today, when people talk about this case in my small town, they are subject to arrest by the police. Okay. You may think, oh, angry soccer mom, that's not true. Oh, I promise it is. Because you see, when police arrest you, if you're white, you think they have to actually follow the rules. No, they have a ton of discretion. Okay. You did this, you did that. People, do we know this? Okay, let's be real. So yeah, today, in modern times, today, this year, last year, the year before, when there's peaceful protests with Black Lives Matter folks, they turn very dangerous because police instigate the unrest. They bring out their tanks. They bring it's. I've seen police in my town act inhumanely towards people just because they know they can get away with it. Now, of course, I'm not saying all police this, all police that, but you see, in general, yeah. So this is called real talk. I've known teens and young adults personally, like they've slept over at my house, who've been arrested for doing absolutely nothing. This poor kid, I don't want to get into it. Oh my God, it was his first rally. Just really quickly, because people need to know this. It was his first rally, and thank God he's okay. Because when all the military people came out, he got really scared. He's a really big, tall kid, but he's like a gentleman. He didn't know. He just wanted to stand up for what's right. Well, somebody threw one of those canisters at him with some gas, and he didn't know what it was. It was his first rally. He was 16, and he kind of like kicked it away. Well, lo and behold, he was thrown to the ground immediately, and he was tackled, and he was imprisoned. And the poor thing, I mean, my God, I don't feel safe in my town because I don't think my children are protected by the people, because I don't think the people value them. And I'm not saying everybody, but it doesn't take much. So this week was a tough week for me in regards to my anti-racism platform. And I just want to give you a background so when we discuss this, you'll understand where I personally am coming from. And I know Anna has probably tons to say, and I am almost done blabbing. This week I posted 2 particular posts that I was bombarded with about 2,000 or 3,000 nasty, racist people. Oh my God. Obnoxious and rude. It was a collective. I mean, it wasn't that kind of stuff just doesn't happen, by accident. It was a collective act together of ooh, they're going to show me they were rude. mostly because they don't understand the fundamentals of systemic racism. They don't understand it's a system. It's not about them. It was all about them. Oh my God, it was all about them. And I ended up making a short video about it. And the reason I want you to hear all this, do you want to jump in and say anything at this point, or should I keep going, Anastasia? Because I'm blabbing away.
So of course, I'm always making points about the things that you say, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, this is the thing. They're talking about Black Lives Matter and how Black Lives Matter, which everybody, well, I don't know if everybody knows it, but I am a board member of Black Lives Matter in Mississippi. And we're often told, oh my God, the riots, I don't want to be a part of that, yada, yada, this and the third, right? It's just a way of being a coward. I am done making excuses for people. If you don't want to fight for your own freedom and liberation, live in bondage, but don't try to take us with you. The second thing about it, they always talk about this violence. The violence has always been there. Angela Davis said that. The police violence has always been there. Violence from whiteness, not white people, but whiteness has always been there. Trust me on that. And the other thing about it is the January 6th riot, insurrection, right? White America is not judged on that. You know what I'm saying? They're not judged on the January 6th. They're not judged on Tulsa. They're not judged on Rosewood. They're not judged with us being fed as gator bait or us being boiled in sugar. They're not judged on that. But we're judged on if we slightly inconvenience you by saying, hey, stop killing and murdering me, right? And this other thing I wanted to say is that it's funny that if you're saying the cops, the feds, and all of these people, now when we said it, oh, y'all lying. But now with January 6th, oh, it was Antifa, it was Black Lives Matter, it was Biden supporters, it was the cops, it was the feds, it was all of these people. But you. But when we say it, we're lying. That's all.
Very true. Very true. There's a double, triple, quadruple standard, and it's really out of control. And I want to say real quick hello to Ron. And I'm just really happy to have so many of my friends here. I really appreciate it. And I promise I will get to comments. I'm not trying to skip that on you. Great points, Anastasia. It's just really, Anastasia, it's a toughie. We are programmed. Not everybody, but you know what? It's everybody, because you know why? It's about the collective. And we have the ability to make it stop, and we don't. So I'm real today about this, okay? I wanted you to hear me freak out a little bit about the town I live in, because I'm a white person, okay? And I know who these people are. I know who went to the newspaper and pretended that my organization was theirs and had a press conference about my organization. I know the people who laughed in my face when I said that we were going to learn. I know these people, okay? I know how they think. I used to not, but now I do, okay? And I know they don't stop their white husbands from being racist. I know they don't stop their children and teach their children. They are used to being in charge and cannot fathom giving up 1 ounce of power. I know these people. I wish I didn't, but I do. And I don't feel comfortable with these people around my child when I'm not there. And I want you to think about that for 1 second, if you're a white person, how it feels that someday my child's going to have to go off without me. And guess what? I will not be there. My white privilege will not be there. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe those police that murdered that kid might be around her. Maybe they'll just look at her as another N-word. I don't know. Okay? And that's fucking terrifying to me. And I want you to understand that. And yeah, you might think I'm really dramatic, but that means you're just not really thinking about it yourself if it was your child, right? I have 2 other kids. I didn't have that problem. Well, I didn't have that problem with them, okay? Because they had their white privilege. And when I'm with her, it's fine. No one's going to do anything. But when she's alone, so I won't dwell on this, but I think it's important. You need to know. I don't feel comfortable with these people around my child when I'm not there. And that's a really scary thing. And it's not fair to her. It's just not. I've been asked, oh my God, when my child's not around, I've been asked, what's it like changing a black baby's diaper? I'm like, seriously? Seriously? Oh, I've been asked, and I don't mind. I'm here to educate, you know? But like, this is where our folks are at, okay? This is where they're at. My little child, when she was little, thank God she didn't know what was going on, was told she knows all the black kids at her school. And she's like, got goo-goo. No, I don't. And the white lady said, yes, you do. You know them. And she's like, no, I don't. And I had to stop the lady and say, ma'am, she doesn't know them. She goes, they look like you. I mean, this is crazy. Okay. I know it's not everybody, but it doesn't have to be everybody. Okay. You cannot imagine the bullshit. And think about this. I'm a white person. I cannot imagine what this crap is like for actual black people who have a black family or brown family and don't have the privilege that I have. I don't even know what to say. And when she was a little baby, it was totally different. I want you to hear the experience. When she was a baby, oh my God, she was the center of attention, the cutest damn thing. And she really was cute, I'm just saying. I would take her to my sports practices where hundreds of people are. Oh my God, they would love her and just give her more attention. And it was like, first I was kind of like, wow. Because remember, I had 2 other children. So I kind of knew. And I was like, okay, this is pissing me off. They're acting like she's like a freaking anomaly. But then I started thinking, okay, come on, angry soccer mom, don't be like that. They just really like her. It's the first black kid they probably ever seen in their life that they've actually held or whatever. I was like, whatever. And then it started to change. And they didn't mean it. And people don't mean it. But she got bigger. She wasn't that cute little baby. She became a toddler. She walked around. She talked. She grew up. And that's when things changed. And I cannot explain to you how obvious it was. So to top it off, do you want to jump in there or no?
I mean, she was a teacup dog. She was nothing different than those biracial kids that Kim Kardashian and the rest of these harpies are having. So the things that you're talking about is she was an accessory to them, not your daughter.
No, it was. Oh, I had people say she's not really black. I'm like, are you okay? Are you fucking kidding me?
They're serious.
I'm like, what? I mean, this is what I'm dealing with in my sweet little liberal town. Okay, it's fun. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I've been asked a lot of times, are you a real black person?
Damn. It's like, and honestly, I don't mind educating people. I don't. But the reason I'm telling you this is I want the white folks listening who, the race card. Oh, no. I'm sorry. And the fact that you don't believe black people, and if you'll believe me, I don't want to go there. That's pathetic. But I'm just saying, I was like, oh, what a liberal town I live in. Oh, no, I was educated. Is she your foster child? Oh, I get that all the time. I'm like, no, she's my child. I mean, and it's like, you guys, I just want you to learn. It's not, I'm really just speaking and being real. So on top of all that, this week, it was actually, I guess, last week, technically, my child had a homecoming game at her school, and she wanted to go alone. And basically, I pretty much had a freaking heart attack because this is the moment. This is my moment. And yes, we've talked about everything. And yes, but this was my moment. I took her to meet a group of friends and I insisted on walking her in till she was with the friends. She was embarrassed. And, I was like, this is how it's working. Try to get her friend come meet her at the gate, and she didn't want to because she was with her other friends. And I get that, but I needed her to. So I bought a ticket and went in. Okay, which is fine. She was pretty much the only Black kid there, out of easily thousands and thousands. Guess who the chaperones were at the game? The police department from my town. Mm-hmm. Those guys. Yeah. They were walking around in their uniforms, ready to pretty much pounce on anyone. They looked angry and mean. And but that's their thing, whatever. But you see, I know their history in my town. And so I helped find her friends, which she wasn't exactly thrilled about. And I guess I was embarrassing her. And I went to one of my adult, I went like kind of next door. I asked my husband to please come with me next door. And we went to a tavern because one of my other children's, adult friends was singing. And I was thinking about her the entire time. I was freaked out. I couldn't focus on anything. And I'm a white mother who grew up in a white house, not the White House, in a white house, in a white centered house. Okay. My parents didn't talk to me about this. Nothing, zero. And I'm able to have the same discussions about this kind of thing as Anna has. And I knew why. I didn't think, I didn't think that, these guys, she was such a cute baby. They were so good to her. Oh no, I've learned my lesson. I don't hate them, but, I've learned the truth. And you know what? It's every freaking single thing that every single brown and Black person ever told me, anything I've ever read, and anything I've ever researched. Sorry, it's true, people. Yeah, like you needed me to say it. So, and do you want to talk about anything about what it feels like to day in and day out and living with this stuff? I mean,
well, I haven't talked to the Black delegation in a while. So what I'll do is, because like your friend, we all know each other. We have like a monthly meeting of the Blacks.
I should have a video on that too.
Yes, we have a monthly meeting, the Blacks, and we talk about stuff. So as I know, we're not a monolith, so I'll discuss my experience with it.
Yeah, just with microaggressions and whatnot. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And we watched the video, and you put the video up of microaggressions being like mosquito bites. Every now and then, hey, are you from West Africa? Do you speak English? You're not like a really, really Black person, are you? Or, you have really nice hair. Are you mixed? Those type of those type of microaggressions every now and then, it's like, okay. But what happens is like with my kids, I don't play with my kids. And about 2 weeks ago, they're basically the only 2 Black kids on the bus. And they told me, now mind you, they get on the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning. So the racism was up at 6:57 in the morning, right? And so they text me and was like, as soon as we got on the bus, these white kids started talking about Africa and the starvation rate, and there's no buses in Africa. This is just last week. There's no buses in Africa and all kinds of stuff like that. And as soon as I told my husband what happened, and he was like, we're going to the school. We're going to school. And my husband is Caucasian. He said, we're going to the school. And we went to the school. And it was like, are you serious? It's only 3 weeks in the school and you're already with this BS. So I don't trust my kid. If I don't know, first of all, I don't trust my kids with anybody. But if we're going into white spaces, I don't trust anybody around them because I don't know if you're Karen. I don't know if you're Becky. I don't know if you're Chad. And I'm not going to gamble with you, not with my kids.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think for a lot of people, it's exhausting, and that's why there are there are places that are considered like people try to set up safe spaces, and that might sound like ha 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 to somebody who doesn't get it. And I would strongly suggest if you don't understand what I'm talking about, that you start doing some research. And I have lists of things for you to look up, and you will get it if you want to. It's not hard, but this is kind of a universal thing that we're. I mean, I could go on. I have stories to tell about how maybe I'll just jump in and just bring one home. If you don't, Anastasia, you can just go like that if I'm talking too much.
You're fine.
When my child was in kindergarten, I got my first real taste of systemic racism. I mean, real taste. Okay. At my first conference I went to, and remember, she's at a school that's nice and liberal, and now she's adorable. And yeah, I sat down and I said hi to the teacher. And remember, I was a special ed teacher. I used to do these conferences. Usually they start by saying, something nice, and then they go on and on. It was her first, it's kindergarten. The teacher, and she's not a mean lady. She's just a racist lady. Don't mix up the two. You can have mean and racist. You can have racist and not mean. She can be sweet as can be. I walked in, sat down, I was all excited because I know my kid's like so great. Of course, all parents think their kid's wonderful. And she said, your child can't read, so I put her in with the disabled kids. Yes, that's a quote. Okay, I am not a good fake. My eyes probably popped out of my head like a deer in headlights. I'm a reading specialist, and I'm a lot older than the teacher that said this to me. And how fucking dare she? Okay, sorry, went there. So, as a white person, I felt perfectly comfortable doing this. Did I think that she would retaliate against my child? Oh, hell no. And that's privilege talking. And this is what I did. I said, sweetie, come over here. She was way over in the corner. Thank God she couldn't hear a thing. Big classroom. I said, pick any book in the room and come read it to me, okay? She picked this like really hard book. I knew what level she read at because you see, I'm a reading specialist, and I taught her to read when she was a little one, so she could enter knowing how to read. It's just kind of stuff we teachers do with our kids, okay? And she said, okay. She was a little surprised because she was supposed to be way over there playing with toys. And she did. And I said, thank you, honey. Bye-bye. And I just looked at her. And that was pretty much the end. And then I went to the, I was done. I was done. I said, thank you so much. And I went to the administrator. And that's the end of my story. But you see, all this stuff's real. There's no race card. It's real.
So you said your daughter, just to replay this, your daughter was in kindergarten.
She was 5 years old, yes.
And the lady said she can't read.
So I sat her next. Yes.
I'm just, I'm the caucasity, of it, like, and then the fact that she assumed that you weren't going to use your white privilege against her. And see, a lot of times with white women, see, they don't think that you're going to use your white privilege against them. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that when you're talking to certain people, you have this position of authority, but you're also a white woman. So you're like, yeah, screw what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Where certain other demographics may be like, what? My kid can't read. To a certain extent. I'm not saying that
they take her as an authority. Is that what you mean?
Right. Because sometimes it'll be like, okay, like when we were talking about before about the ADHD thing, the ADD, and how a lot of Black children were diagnosed with ADHD and ADD because those white female teachers didn't know how to deal with Black children. So of course they were mentally disabled or, whatever the case may be. And I'm pretty sure a lot of those parents probably trusted the teacher because why would this teacher lie to me? Who would do that to a child? And plus she's a teacher when all we know that that's a lie. that a lot of these teachers are horrible. And just to let you know, your kid, you learned it from that white woman, right? Let me tell you how my kids learned about it. My kids were on the bus. They were in kindergarten. And a little boy on the bus spit in their face and called them the N-word.
Oh my God.
On the bus. So that's how I got introduced to racism with my kids. Day one.
Wow. That's just freaking heartbreaking. Everybody has a story. I don't even have that many, but you don't need that many. Nails of glitter, no testing, no IP. Just Karen decided that the black girl is disabled. Yep, pretty much, yeah. T, when I taught in brick and mortar school, the white teachers always wanted to say that something was wrong with the black kids. Yeah. And you know what? I'm not trying to make this like, let's gang up on a day, but you know what? This is real talk. This is freaking reality. Okay. This is reality. It's ingrained in our society. It's programmed to all of us over and over and over. And you know what? It works. It freaking works. Nails and glitter, no, because black boys must be doing something wrong if they exist. Yeah, it's just, I don't think most white folks even remotely understand. What's that? Uh-oh. Go.
I was raising my hand, you know.
I thought there was a one.
Yeah. No, yes.
You know, the reason she's raising her hand is because we have stupid computer problems. It's not.
It's all right. The thing about it is, even when the children are gifted, they don't want. See, this is the thing. This is about not competing on equal playing field. That's what this is about. We can say all that we want to say, that, oh, she doesn't know how to teach. It's not about that. What it is about is that for so long in this country, white people have not had to compete with anybody. You understand what I'm saying? And then when they did, they had what did it, Angela Davis said, if you're only winning by standing on somebody else's neck, who are you? And that's what all of this is about. You've been standing on the necks of women. You've been standing on the necks of black women. You've been standing on the necks of minority women. You've been standing on the necks of white women. You've been standing on the necks of black men. You've been standing on the necks of poor people all together. And now that you can't do that, what they say, equity seems like oppression when you're the oppressor. That's what they're saying.
We are the victims. I mean to cut you off, Anna. We are the victims. Oh, yes. We white people are the victims. And that's bullshit. It's absolutely, it just falls right along with, you know, we can't think of anybody but ourselves. We literally cannot learn vicariously. We cannot see the plight of others. We cannot study and learn. We just can't. We won't.
But you know what? I'm going to push back on that, my love. You want me to tell you why? Because when white people or certain non-black minorities that are white passing or white aligned are slightly inconvenienced, they know how to articulate our oppression. Prime example, the teacher that went to school with blackface on and said that she felt like Rosa Parks. Remember that lady?
Yes, I have a video up. Yes.
Remember the guy in the airport that, I don't know what he did. He did something wrong. And he was like, oh my God, you're treating me like a black guy.
Mm-hmm. Remember I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Remember how they were like, how Marjorie Taylor Greene and McClaniels and all of these people were saying, oh, this is going to turn into the Holocaust. Remember all of that? They know. This is the thing. I believe 90% of white people know what's going on. The fact of the matter is that they benefit from it. So I'm not going to say anything. And those other 10%, yes, we'll break them down into they haven't had a wealth of knowledge. They haven't been around a wealth of people. But at the end of the day, this right here can bring the world to you. That my cousin sent this to me. This right here illustrates that with knowledge, you can go anywhere. But if you don't use it,
And just to clarify, absolutely great points. I was not for 1 minute saying, "Oh, they don't know." I hope that that's not what you took from that. But we give every excuse. Oh, we do this. It's. I don't care if it's unconscious, subconscious. I do not care. You cannot be alive today in today's incredible communication and pretend you don't know what's going on. Sorry, no, stop it. Okay, stop the denial. Drop your ego at the door if you're a white person. Freaking listen and learn. And today I wanted to also just jump into this. It fits perfectly. I got attacked again. When I say attacked, I mean, like, I don't care if people say their opinion. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like 3,000 people like calling me a C word. I'm talking like, like not just cuckoo, like bombarding. And, it's kind of disconcerting. It's because I think, my God, oh my God, there's that many people. It just kind of really shows me because I'm in my bubble, I put out something that I thought would be a great thing to get white folks. Because remember, I work with white folks. I don't teach Black, brown, indigenous people. No. That's out of my lane. Because you see, I don't know. I don't care how much I study. I'm not a Black person. I'm not a brown person. Okay. I do not live every single freaking day. Okay. As a person in a society that the main culture is that we pretty much don't value us, and no, I don't live that way. How in the world, how arrogant would that be for me to be? I know better. I do not know better how to solve these problems. I do not know. So all I can do is try to help teach white folks. Okay. We did this. We started this, not you personally. Okay. And we need to step up to the plate and take some goddamn responsibility. Okay. It's not that hard. We just don't want to. So I put this meme up, and I will show you. And pretty much people went nuts. And the craziest thing was, I put it up because I thought it would show like empathy and like that people could take the role of the other, and maybe understand how. Oh no, it was all about white people's feelings, and that just is, oh my God, that's it. That's what it is. You cannot learn to be anti-racist when you're making it all about you. Okay. And I got so upset. I made a video about it. It's not a really good video, but I made a video about it. I'm sure you will understand it. So I was going to play real fast. Do you want to say something first, Anna, or no?
No, as I always tell you, I'm just surprised that you're still surprised anymore. The fact of the matter is, when people show you who they are, believe them. I am not surprised by anything. White people and white passing people hate to be told when they're wrong.
You know what? It's so strange because you would think that I would get used to it, or, understand that, like, when people show you who they are. Every single, oh, Bobby, hi, Bobby, welcome. I'm shocked, like it's the first time every time. And it's not that I don't, it's just kind of my personality. I just can't fathom. I just can't fathom it. It's a long story. I got issues. Okay. We're hoping it would skip a generation, but it didn't. Okay. So yeah. So I was just beside myself. And here's the, I guess, post that I made, thinking, in this country, America means white. Everybody else has to hyphenate. All right. I thought that would lead people to maybe, God, I don't want to say it, have some empathy, understanding of how some of this stuff makes people feel. But no, not that. So I made a little video. I hope you like it. Every once in a while, I temporarily lose my faith in humanity. And last night was one of those moments. I posted this and I got back some of the most racist, hateful horrific comments from thousands of people. This is what many of them said. I'm just going to do a summary. That's bullshit. Nobody says they have to do that. It's a choice. Another one said, you're an idiot who uses racism to divide. A lot of them said, well, I disagree with that. A few of them said, well, I'm Italian. I don't hyphenate. That's just playing the race card. There were thousands just like this. Every last one of them was from white people. And I got a bunch of much more nasty ones that I don't care to repeat. And there was a common theme to every single response. We white folks make it all about us. We white people make it all about how we see the world, our feelings. We're so arrogant that we actually tell you, a person who is not white, how to feel and how life is. We white folks cannot see the world in any way other than through how we see the world. We don't care how our racist ideologies and discriminatory actions harm Black, brown, and Indigenous people. We don't care. It's about how we feel. But here's the problem. This post, it's not about us. It's not about the white people. They can't pull their arrogant white supremacist heads out of their asses for 1 second. It's not about how we feel. It's not about how we, the white people, think. It's about our fellow humans. Why is that so difficult? Our white feelings are more important than your lives. Our white feelings are more important than your mental health. Our white feelings matter more than the constant added trauma you might have having to defend yourself against systemic racism. Thousands of white people made this post all about them. It speaks volumes about the character and culture of our nation. Everything's about us. Okay. Okay. I was very, very upset, and I still am. But you see, we have so far to go. And I saw a couple comments that were amazing. Dragon Soldier, the difference between not racist and anti-racist. If you are not in collision with racism and injustice, you are in collusion with it. Damn, I like that. I've never heard that one before. Do you want to jump in anything?
Yes, I want to jump in. It's bullshit. It's babies having temper tantrums. First, I'm gonna hit something that Dragon Soldier said, right? Earlier, he said in regards to the Muhammad Ali quote about, if there's 10,000 snakes and I know 1,000 of them do not want to do me harm, am I going to open the gate and hope those 1,000 come in? Or am I going to close the gate to all of them, right? Right? So at the end of the day, when we're talking about this, first of all, this Italian person just became white. That's a new white person. I don't think he even understands that you were not white when you came over here. And they didn't want your ass over here either. Okay? When the Germans came over here, you weren't considered white. Only for the most part, England and France were considered quote unquote white. So this whole thing about, James Baldwin said this. He said, American citizenship is on the path of hating Black people. He said the Negro, but I don't know if you're going to get flagged for me saying that or whatever the case may be. But the simple, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is it too late? It's okay.
So the thing about it is this BS about, we don't have to hype. And what is you talking about? You have a little Italy in the middle of New York. You have a little Italy everywhere. What are you talking about, sir? Like we talked about before, the reason why people had to hyphenate is because America wants us to be in a blender. So nobody sticks out. We can just say, you know what? I invented the do-rag. You know that, right? I invented soul food. We made it better. And that's what it's about. It's about gentrification of everybody. Now, the hyphenation makes America into a salad. And white people don't want that because in a salad, you still got your tomatoes. You still got, in a salad, white people are lettuce, the base for the most part. And if you have nothing else, it'll be a boring salad. I know you've been to restaurants where they put a big old piece of lettuce, one tomato, and like 50 gallons of ranch, right? It's not good, right? But when you get a good salad from there's a place called a salad station. I love their salads where you can put the different kinds of lettuce, the different types of tomatoes. You can put shrimp, you can put crab, it doesn't mean that the lettuce isn't good. It just means it's a different taste and it brings a different texture. But they don't want that. But another thing I was going to pivot off is that those new white people assimilated. There's a book about that. That these Italians that came in, the Dutch that came in, all of these people they assimilated to whiteness in order because they knew that they didn't want to be treated like black people. You know what I'm saying? Just like it was an Asian couple during segregation that wanted their children to go to white schools. And you know what white America said? Nope. You're going to go to school with these black kids. So the fact of the matter is, just like Jane Elliott said, you know what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. They just don't want it for them.
Yeah, what Jane Elliott says, which is just amazing, is, and this is the little test when white people say, I just don't know. She says, raise your hand. She talks to an entire large room of white folks. Raise your hand if you'd like to be treated the way we treat black people in America. And then she says, people, hello, do you not hear me? Raise your hand if you'd like to be treated the way we treat black people in America. Well, of course, no one raises their hand because, see, we do know. At some level, we do know, or more than just some level. So let's just be clear about that. I don't know if I'll be able to find it fast enough, but there's that Lyndon B. Johnson.
Oh, you talking about the lowliest white man look down on the finest colored man?
Yep. Let me just say, yep. And
that's a good quote because it's the truth.
Because it's the truth.
It's the truth. It's the dog honest truth, and the fact that a lot of them don't want to believe that. Matter of fact, as you're looking for it, I'll talk about it. The thing about it is that quote is personified in what happened with the Civil War. Mm-hmm. You had rich white people convince you that these Africans and these indigenous people that they raped, murdered, and pillaged as enslaved people, that they were taking jobs from you versus it's cheaper and better for my profit bottom line for me to enslave them than to pay you. Did you find it?
Oh yeah, I'm there.
Okay, take it.
And thanks, Anastasia. And one of the things that I'm not sure if this is precisely what you're referencing just now, but the New York City draft massacre was absolutely what I'm going to read you. 100%. That was what it was. So we do this. This is what we do. Lyndon B. Johnson knew about it when he said, if you can convince, and this is antiquated, please forgive me, it's rude. Okay, it's not nice. But this is what he said at the time. If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. And that's what we do. That's what we do. And that's what absolutely was going on with the New York City draft race massacre when Lincoln was president, and he, and I won't get into that. It's a video if you want to see it. It's a real short one. It's what we do over and over and over. So yeah, I'm about to move on to the next topic, but Anna, would you like to jump in and say anything more?
No, I mean, Trump, Talanda, he personified that quote. Republicans personify those quotes. And like I've said on this show before, racism is like a game of tag. It's the Muslims. Oh my God, they're scary. They're gonna want to attack you. They hate us because they hate us, right? We lie. Not we. Don't. We are not in France. These people lie. We go into wars and killing people and having people killed over lies, over racism. Oh, the reason why you can't get a job is because of those women. They should be back in those kitchens. That's what this whole birth dearth thing is about. This is about this abortion. This is about this border wall. That's what that's about. Mm-hmm. The next thing, oh, these black people, these enslaved people, they're going to take your job. They're going to do all of this to you. You know what I'm saying? All these undocumented immigrants. And the way I look at it with the if a person can walk for 3 months, don't speak the language. It's a meme about that. Don't speak the language. Don't have no contentions over here. And they take your job, then you're a jackwagon. That says more about you than it does about them. And the simple fact of the matter is, this is why black people and non-whites were not allowed into unions. Let's be clear about that. They were not allowed into unions. And that was another thing, like you said, with the New York City draft riots was about. It wasn't over they wanted to help anybody. It was because and let's be clear, a lot of those people that were in the draft riots were not born Americans. They were Germans and people from other countries. So the greatest export that we got is racism.
Irish people, a lot of Irish people.
Right. It was a lot of Irish people. I know it was some Germans in there.
Yes, right. Yeah, and I mean, the bottom line is we've been doing this over and over again. White America, hello, let's catch on. We've been playing the fool. You see, we have been pushed into, let's blame immigrants. Let's blame black people. Let's blame brown people. Let's blame the wealthiest elites who are billionaires and are running our country have played us all for fools. And every generation we fall for it. Oh, we're special. We're white. Okay, I'll vote against my own best interest. Seriously? When are we going to catch on? This is a joke. If you want to find out what's going on in America, all you have to do is look at two things. Capitalism on freaking steroids, the wealthiest elites, and systemic racism. And that's it. We're a simple folk here. And you know what? We're in denial. And that's why I do these shows, is because I am so over this BS, this whitewashed history, this ahistorical perspective. If you're white and you don't know your own racial history, then you don't have any business talking about the problems and the issues we have today. You can talk about it, but you don't know what you're talking about. You are coming from a place of total ignorance. I'm just saying, okay? And this stuff's not tough to learn, but we just don't want to. So the next thing I wanted to get into was the other post that really triggered people. And this week I posted a video about, it was taken from Alabama State University. And let me tell you, the video started with a bunch of young white men who were studying in a room deemed a multicultural safe space. Okay, let me explain for the new folks. And it's fine to be new. You don't have to know everything. I'm going to learn till the day I die. I learn something new every day. Let me explain for the new folks. It's a simple place where people are not people who are not cis white males and who are not in other numerical majority groups can go and feel safe to just be them. It doesn't mean white people can't go there, but it is a safe space. I don't really think it needs much more understanding than that. It's a place where the one place on campus people can go if they are Black, brown, indigenous, or they are not in the, they are not cis gendered, okay? And many other things, but I won't get into it. It's a place where people go so they won't have constant microaggressions, dog whistles, to use their emotional energy just to survive when they really need to be studying, It's a study place. It's not a big place. People have been doing these because you can't understand the emotional stress. Life's hard enough. Hello, we're in a pandemic still. Come on. The rich are getting richer. Everyone else is getting poor. I don't need to explain this to you. So the video showed these young men sitting so innocently studying there, and they're allowed to study there, except they weren't so innocent. And let me just do this, and I know Anna has stuff to say. One of them had a very obvious police lives matter sticker on his computer. That is a threat, okay? There's no such thing as police lives. The saying is used as a racist counter to Black Lives Matter, to the whole campaign. Police lives have always mattered. There's no such thing as a police life anyway. Becoming a police officer is a choice. Being born Black or brown or indigenous in a society that values white supremacy and money is not a choice. One had an "I didn't vote for Biden" shirt in big letters. So gee whiz. They had Chick-fil-A cups with them. 2 or 3 of the women who were there, I believe they were Black or brown, I do not know, they asked them to leave. And you know what? That's when the trouble started, because they were indignant, which Anna will go into. I got about 2,000 comments about how mean those poor white men were just sitting there. Here are some examples of some of the comments. Those N-word girls, how dare they stop those men from studying? Wow. I got, that I'm racist for posting this and that the men did nothing wrong. I got so many, you guys, I got C word over. I got like, people were freaking nuts. I got that I was the R word, not meaning racist. I was developmentally disabled, I'll say that, because I love to talk about division, denial. It is real. I got a couple people telling me that I was the C word and that I was the real racist. These people have pretty much zero understanding of racial history. They have no understanding of the power differential and how it is factored in, or in their case, not factored in. This is some sick shit. These are the levels that people are at, guys. These are the levels that people are at. Okay. So yeah, that. What do you think?
Well, we talked earlier about this. First of all, that situation was trying to gaslight people, like they do most minorities, including white women. Okay. But specifically, Black women are gaslighted a lot, right? So let's look at the context clues. Okay. You came into the multicultural center, right? Not that you had a Police Lives Matter, okay, separately from the Chick-fil-A cups, separately from the "I didn't vote for Biden," right? No, you brought all that cornucopia of stupidity in there. And it was purposely done. I'm telling you, once I really read, I was like, you're a dummy if you think they didn't purposely come in there. And it's called, I was watching something, right? And it's weird that we're talking about it, but they're called First Amendment auditors. They went in there purposely to do what they did.
Absolutely.
To make themselves be a victim, to make the replacement, the lost cause, the white genocide BS that is totally not happening. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening. So the simple fact of the matter is that, yeah, they're the victim, totally the victim. But once I sat back and watched it, I was like, you know what? That wasn't their first, that may have been their first time in there. But that is not the first time those type of people went in there for the purposes of doing what they did. Now, on the second hand, from looking from the outside in, say that was the first time that they came in there, I wouldn't have said anything to them. You know why? Because I'm a 46-year-old woman and I know young white men, let's stop calling them boys, are dummies. And I'm not going to waste my time on you. I'm just not. I'm not going to waste my time on you. I'm not going to get gray hairs because you want to be stupid. Now, again, I also wasn't there, but I don't believe, especially the way they were talking and being a Black woman and knowing certain things about getting gaslit, and then over and over, you have to tell them. I still remember being in the Army, and I was an E7 in the Army, and I was gaslighted by one of my colleagues. And I had to tell him, first of all, don't mansplain for me. Every time we come in these in the middle of a meeting, don't mansplain for me. And it wasn't because that was the first time. It was because it was the 40th time. And this is what I say, leave Black people alone. Leave Hispanic people and Latinx people alone. Leave disabled people alone. Leave us alone. Because all of us are not going to not choose violence. All of us, you know what I'm saying? All of us are not going to have this kumbaya type of vibe with you. And I'm not advocating any violence. I'm just telling you, you cannot be rolling up on people any way you want. And then when they hit you with the booyaka and you have a big old black eye or a big old lip, now, oh my God, they're so violent. They're so this. But you wasn't talking all that crap when you was sitting there, you know, being tough Teflon Don or tough Tony. Now you sitting up in the hospital. Now you the victim. So that's all I have to say about that. That was not the first time. And they've been means testing that and doing that on purpose. I will bet you some money.
Absolutely. Yeah. The fact is, they knew what they were doing, and it was purposeful. And they were going to show them male dominance.
Yep.
And they were going to be the victims. And they were going to be, and you know, I found it pathetic. And I think they were actually fairly comfortable, if you notice, talking about this. They had all their points ready because, you see, this is what they do. Do you really think they just happened to meander into the multicultural room? Please. Now, seriously. And of course, I was bombarded with the thousands of people saying, you know, I told you all this, you know, I'm the C word, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm the racist. How dare those women tell them, my God, they wanted a little freaking piece on earth there. But nope. White supremacists couldn't have that. Nope. This is what we do. If you want to just keep racism out of it, I'll just say this. How about some common freaking courtesy? It's called respect. Let's just pretend. I like to pretend. Let's pretend those innocent poor dears had no idea. No idea. And they just were like, wow. Then it's time to be quiet and listen. Yes, white males, white women, be quiet and listen. And that is a real problem for us because, see, we center ourselves with everything. And why am I telling you all this? Because I hate white people? Oh, no. You can say that if you want. I am a white person. Let's be real. Because I expect better. I expect us to uphold our Constitution, and I expect us to have liberty and justice for all. I expect better than this. This cannot be our best because it's pathetic. And yeah, I have high expectations. But you know what? For me, it's called being human. It's called acting like a freaking human. All right? And I don't know what the problem is, but a lot of us white folks just don't want to. Maybe because we benefit from not. I don't know. I don't even care. It needs to stop. And if you're white and you're listening and you're like, I know I sound really, very, very powerful. It's because this, if not with this, when would I give a shit? You tell me. There is nothing more important, very few things, than the human and civil liberties of our fellow humans. If you believe in our democratic republic, because you know what? This place is going down, right? And it is not going to be here forever. People died to try to get the rights we have. And if you disrespect that, then see how you like it when it's a dictatorship, because that's how it's going. Sorry, a little bit of a rampage there.
No, what I was going to say was the simple fact of the matter is not that people died. People were murdered.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that the funny thing about it is Black people and minorities have always known that this place was basically a third world country. Now, the guy, Michael LF or whatever, whoever he was, hate America first, whatever the case may be. The fact of the matter is, I'm not going to validate that. But what I will say, it speaks to people are saying, hey, I'm getting killed over here. Well, everybody's getting killed. No, but I'm getting killed, like right now. Well, can't you wait until everybody's getting killed? And then, you know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is that, like I said, this country has always been a dictatorship to certain people. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? What it is now is that you've never had to listen to anybody about anything that you did. So now it's just like that little Jimmy, and I'm gonna say it, that little white boy that's in the Walmart breaking everything and tearing the clothes down, and you want to sit there and be like, go sit your butt down. But you're not gonna use corporal punishment on other people's kids. Now, did little Jimmy just get like that? No, he didn't just get like that. Or little Molly didn't just get like that. She's been like that. She's just doing it in public because you've allowed her to do that. So that's all this is right about now. And I mean, I personally could give a hot damn on how they feel about it.
Yeah, and something that I like to stress is it's called taking racial responsibility. It's not, no one's asking the world, no one's blaming you, but we're kind of here, so why would we just watch? Only because we're benefiting from it. There is nothing, practically nothing, more patriotic than standing up for equity, equality, and justice in a nation that boasts liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry, if your house is on, their house is on fire, yours isn't. You don't need protection and equality. They do. It's not about us, white folks. It's not about us. I don't know any other words to say that will help people understand. Stop making it about white feelings over the lives, the death, the murders of our fellow humans. No. So we got to stop. And I want to first really fast say, Mark, welcome. Thanks for being here. We're just kind of wrapping up. But did you want to join in and say anything else, Anna? Because I think all I have to say is, do you want to mute yourself for 1 second? Because I hear the little, just for 1 second. I wanted to tell everybody here, thank you so much for being here. If you feel like I do, that it's way past time for white folks in America to learn our own racial history and take some responsibility and care about our fellow humans. Please consider subscribing. Please consider coming to the live shows, adding your input, getting hold of me, talking to me about this, asking questions, whatever you need. I will meet you where you're at. Okay. I mean, to a certain extent, if you're like too far gone, I don't have like, I do have, things to do, but I mean, I will do my very best to meet you where you're at. We don't do conspiracy theory here, and we don't debate our fellow humans' civil rights. Okay. So that's never going to work. You want to jump in and say anything else before we say goodbye?
Yeah, the last thing I was gonna say was, as far as somebody brought up, I think it was Talanda that brought up that Breonna Taylor was treated like a family dog, right? She said it earlier in the comments, you'll see it. And what I will say to Talanda, no, Breonna Taylor wasn't treated like the family dog. And you want me to tell you why she wasn't treated like the family dog? Because this is what happens when dogs are shot by cops, right? When dogs are shot by cops in Maryland, 2014, the owners got $1.26 million. In California in 2005, they got $797,000. 2016 in Detroit, $100,000. In Connecticut, $885,000. Colorado, $262,000. Oh, that wasn't you, Talanda. I'm sorry. But somebody said that Breonna didn't get treated. They made charges for the wall that the cops shot into. Charges for Breonna, more than charges for Breonna. And the last thing I was going to say, the race card. Black people didn't put no race card in there because we didn't have the power to put no race card in there. So at the end of the day, white people started the race card. But one thing that Gloria Miller said, she said that you are N-word when you die. Well, first of all, we are N-words to people. I'm not an N-word. I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? And I don't use that word. But if you're going to the sentiment that no matter how much money you make in this country, no matter what prestigious schools you go to, no matter the respectability politics, people are going to see you like that. So in that vein, you are correct. All the other stuff you're talking about, I mean, it is what it is.
We had a quick question. I don't know, and we'll wrap it up. Thank you for that. I understand. Sheila, do you want to read Sheila's question? And I don't know if you have a answer. I don't put you on the spot, but.
Right. What do you think would happen if a regiment of MFLAC or Black Panthers or AMI showed up at the White National Center and made themselves comfortable? Man, please. First of all, that's like, listen, first of all, this is what I always tell people. You're talking about these white nationalist center, right? And then the cops would come. But the thing about it, that's like asking the question is, where's Superman at when Clark Kent is around? Where, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are one and the same people. So at the end of the day, those white nationalist people would know that they would be protected. There's no way. If that situation was reversed, honey,
they'd be dead.
Trust me, it would have been a whole, look at these Black people trying to agitate and stuff like that. Or we just trying to have a safe space. We still have white only country clubs. And the only people that of color that are members are people that work there. We still have white only places. So what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? You're so upset that you think everybody believes that because let's be clear, those white men were given the benefit of the doubt. Oh my God, they're just so innocent. And they were sitting there minding their business. And these horrible Black women and feminists, and as somebody said, communists and stuff like that came in there and, just ruined it. You know what I mean? We could have all been kumbaya, but I know for certain that those people came in there purposely to do it there. And there's no way, no Black. First of all, we know January 6th, if that would have been Hispanics, Latinx, If that would have been anybody with a shade of color, oh, it would have been a complete and utter
All
blood.
hell.
All
Bloodbath.
hell would have broke loose. But there's only
Bloodbath. Yep.
right. There's only two things that I wanted to say before we go. We know, as we know, is National Hispanic Heritage Month, and I just wanted to spotlight Roberto Clemente, and he was an Afro Puerto Rican. And the simple fact of the matter is, he fought for rights for the black players. He died white. I mean, died at 38 years old, on his way to drop off supplies to needy people after an earthquake, and that's how he died. That's Roberto Clemente. So I just wanted to get homage to Roberto Clemente today for all the good things, being socially conscious, and especially when he came up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was unheard of what people was still. Just to tell you a little bit of story about that, when he was recruited, what would happen is the black players had to stay on the bus, and the white players would bring them their food. And he threatened the black players not to take that food. And then what he did was, he was for the Pirates, and what he did was he lobbied them to get them a separate vehicle, so they didn't have to deal with that. So that's Roberto Clemente, and I just wanted to, like I said, give homage to him, especially when it comes to Hispanic heritage. I also wanted to do a countdown of injustice. So far, LaMelo Parker, 149 days. Damon Cameron, 62 days. Robert Loggins, 1,035 days. Amaya Braxton, 1,820 days of no justice. Thank you.
So what you're talking about is people who are black and brown who have basically been forgotten and thrown away, and their cases don't matter. It's really, really incredible that the difference is just, I mean, I wonder if this is 2021 sometimes. I really do. But one thing before we close, that one more thing. I've been doing a ton of research on Haiti, and I put a few videos up, and I wanted to highly encourage everybody to understand Haiti. And I want you to understand that the Haitian people, they were the first to stop slavery. They paved the way for slavery to end in other places. They basically, from what I've been reading, oh my God, it's unbelievable. And I'm going to do videos on it. I haven't done them yet because I know nothing. But I read, somebody sent me something today, and I can't confirm it because there's so little information, and I will. But they said that some of the Haitian ships were not allowed to come to the Americas during the slave times because they would give anyone who could escape free passage. So they didn't let them in. Haitian people, and I say this in terms of just very, very basic humanity, what we were doing to them. Yes, many thousands came all at once. Yes, they had buses and it was sudden, but the whips and the inhumanity and the sending, my God, these people and their ancestors have been there for us. Oh my God. I'll do a video on it, but please look into that. Do some research on it. No matter who you are, it's unbelievable. Haiti is an impoverished country, but not by their own doings. I have a video on it. Look it up. It's unbelievable. If you don't know your own racial history and our history of the world and whatnot, then you remain ignorant when it comes to what is happening with systemic racism in modern times. You just do. So, yep. Thank you, Sheila, and thank you so much for all the incredible input from everybody. And Anastasia, you are a wealth of wisdom and information. And I can't thank you enough for your support. I'm trying to educate white folks, and for the most part, they don't want to be educated. So it's tough, but I won't stop because it means a lot to me. Um, it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And I will not stop till my last breath. And no, I'm not a hero. And no, I don't want my picture on Facebook. I just am a person who gives a shit about their fellow humans. That's all. No more, no less. So, anyway, thank you so much to everybody and to my special, precious Anastasia. Have a great night, everybody. And please be safe. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Good night.